What is up, my loves? It is your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own review of Belle Collective Birmingham. Y'all know last week was the reunion. That means this season is over. It was a good first season. I hate there was only a few episodes, like 7, and majority of the episodes centered around Tiffany and Stormi's problems about a damn mop. Excuse me. I know. While I understand Stormi anchored the show because we are opening up with Stormi because we know Stormi, I want the next season for it to be an even space where all the ladies have more to talk about, more for us to see their lives more. I want that for the next season. For the set design for the reunion, horrible, boring, didn't like it. The reunion looks. Let's talk about Stormi. I love Stormi's gladiator, warrior outfit. I didn't like the way that she sat down on the couch where her boobs were so compressed. It didn't look like she was breathing. I loved Kayla's look. I loved her dress. I loved the white. I loved her makeup. I loved her hair with the little flip. Her makeup, beautiful. Blush blindness is a real trend, okay? There have been so many different looks, especially for chocolate women, where we are overdoing the blush, right? Amber, simple, had a highlighted bob, pantsuit, cool. Tiffany, don't know. Shoulder pads. It was given Cruella de Vil, okay? I hated her hair. Fumi, loved the colors, loved her hair. Now, we are welcoming Stormi back into the fold of reality TV. We know she came from Love Marriage Huntsville, right? But she left, took a step back. Now she's on a new franchise. We are setting in Birmingham, Alabama, the era of civil rights. There's a lot of cultural history, all right? And for what we know, what Birmingham has to offer is very rich in all different levels, okay? But we got to address a comment that Tiffany made when we saw the flashback of how everyone is talking about how good Birmingham is. Tiffany made a comment that content creators are always the same. They're always doing things the same, okay? Fumi wanted to address her as to why did you say all content creators are doing the same thing? What did you mean by that? Now, instead of Tiffany saying, you know what, I really wasn't saying anything about you. I was going off of what I've seen on content creators' pages. No, she just say, I said what I said. I'm not always your favorite. I'm real. I'm going to be direct. Fumi said, you're not real and you're not my favorite, okay? Because since you don't know how someone handles their channel, you don't know how someone is trying to set themselves apart from other people by creating their own original content, you just assuming that everyone is the same. And that's not cool, okay? Moving on from there, we got Stormi's Mega Live, where she had the ladies there and Martell there. Tiffany was slighted that she did not become a part of it, so she was hanging out with the ladies in a scene where she said, oh, y'all were Stormi's employees. Okay, y'all were selling the product. That was a marketing strategy. So when it comes to using them as a marketing strategy, that was wrong. The only marketing strategy was Martell, okay? Kayla chimed in and said, let me clarify that we were only there for about 5 minutes and we did not get paid for it. I am not even going to think about accepting any money from her from that event because I was there to be supportive, okay? But I did get invited on going on another live where I was there for more than 30 minutes and I did get paid very well for it. But I wouldn't use for her to bring us over there on that particular live and expect to get paid or use us as free labor. That's not what I would believe she was trying to do. And Tiffany saying she was giving her flowers, she wasn't saying free labor. That's exactly how you said it though. It was giving free labor. And of course she wanted to check Kayla, like Kayla's hard of hearing, because you have a habit of you don't repeat things the way that things are being shown. You don't remember things the way things are remembered. No, Tiffany, I think you don't remember things the way things are remembered, because watching you look at the scenes when they were flashing through, you made a face about the things that were coming out of your mouth because you knew you were saying something out of pocket. And instead of accepting accountability and apologizing, you project that on someone else who isn't doing what you're claiming you're doing, okay? Because you're assuming everyone else is not being honest, not being direct, they're pussyfooting around. No, they're making up things. No. So then we get Amber, who is the CFO. Was it a strategy move of bringing the girls on her live to sell products? She went around to say, well, I'll be on live, I pop in and out, and usually it's just friends or family that's just there to be there to support you. And then she made an example about if her and Kayla did something, I invite her, I would hope that Kayla would assume she'll get paid. But it's in that same conversation of Amber saying that they're not as close to Stormi for her to just bring them on, just to bring them on. And that's what Tiffany made it seem when she checked it, when she chimed in. You say, so they're not close? Is that what that is? So they're not her friends, so that's why she used them on her live? No. I do think that Stormi brought them in because she wanted to show them her world, connect with them, bond with them, you know? She knows Kayla, she's getting to know Fumi, and she's getting to know Sonetta. So that was just her way of bringing them into her world. It wasn't about using them for publicity, not at all, okay? And Tiffany, why are you chiming in? This wasn't about you. This was Amber's question. Let Amber answer the question. And Stormi just said, listen, Tiffany, just say you were hating and you wanted to be part of the live, okay? Because that's all this needs to be said. Because you're reading way too deeply as to why Stormi brought the ladies onto her live. Girl, all because you just suddenly had a day trip to Atlanta. Girl, bye. Moving on. So then we get into the lives of all the ladies, all right? We learned that Amber, who was going through a lot this season of going through her IVF journey, she did have a successful retrieval. No timeline as to when she wants to have a baby. She has been by herself for a very long time. She enjoys being single, but she gets anxious. She feels a little bit of anxiety if she was to invite a man over to her life, and she's afraid he's going to change how she operates. I completely understand that, because if you have learned to be by yourself for a while and you've learned how you love the way you got things going on, you don't want nobody else to mess up your routine, right? I get that. Carlos thinks that he can give her advice about how she should embrace the change, invite that person in. Maybe y'all can create something beautiful. Well, you don't know how a woman operates like that, Carlos. As women who probably been through heartache, betrayal, I'm not fully trustworthy of people. I'm not going to invite anyone in my life if I don't believe that they are worthy of being in my life. So Amber should be cautious of who she brings into her life, as well as who she decides to have a baby with. You know, because some men are not going to blend and balance what you are already doing. Men want to take over. Men want to do things their way. No, I don't want that. So do you worry about your own timeline, Amber. Focus on how it's going to make you happy. So then we get into Fumi and how Fumi really wanted to buy this big-ass $2 million mansion that she thought it was a steal. Asking her, did she put an offer on the house? Yes, they did put an offer on the house. Don't know if it was the same house. It wasn't $2 million, but it was more than one. But it fell through. They couldn't get it. Then Carlos wanted to know, is she aware of her finances? Like, how much is her mortgage? She don't know. Do she pay any of the bills? She don't know. That's all her husband's doing. Is there an allowance that your husband gives you? She said, yes, there is. And if I spend that, which is mostly in a week, then I use the Amex. Fumi, stop talking. No. Just stop talking. Because you cannot convince me, Fumi, that you could be this naive and not know how money is being spent in your household. You don't know your mortgage. You don't know how much the bills are, but yet you want your husband to spend $2 million and some change on a big ass house. For what reason? I can't find. Because you let us know that you make over 6 figures as a content creator. You are part of a brokerage company with your sister. You've also helped your husband and his law firm. Make it make sense. What you mean you don't know how much your finances are? How you not know what gets paid, what doesn't get paid? That makes no sense, Fumi. Don't pretend. Please, Fumi. Do not pretend as if you do not know what goes in and out of your house. Do not. Because I don't understand your reason as to why you want this big ass house. And the way you went about it, the way you treat your husband. Fumi, please. Because I don't know, for me, like, you're trying to have the outside match the inside, but it does already. Like, I don't want to do this with you, Fumi. I really don't, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Don't lose your husband when you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, okay? If your husband says it doesn't make any sense to buy a new house, then listen to your husband. And then, Fumi, you had already told us how you've already had trouble with finding a house in Birmingham because you guys aren't treated respectfully. You guys are being looked down on. You guys are being blackballed because no one else is giving you the honor and the respect that you guys could buy your dream home. Remember, you couldn't get your dream home because they didn't believe you guys could afford it. You guys are living in a predominantly white neighborhood, and they are not really recognizing that black people could make really good money, very legal money, and buy big houses. So you are already dealing with people treating you like you don't work, you don't belong here. Why would you want to go through that process again? It doesn't make any sense. Sorry, not sorry. And I'm moving on from Fumi because that really pissed me the fuck off. That she really wants to present herself as more than what she already is. Like, you don't need to worry about what people think of you, Fumi. What you think of you is all that needs to matter. You are already making a very good life with you and your husband. Let it go. Don't. You better not come back next season and wanting to spend more than you don't need. You better not. Either way. Carlos asked Stormi, how did she feel about Fumi expressing the way that her husband handles finances? She said, I don't see nothing wrong with it. If that's how her household operates, that's their dynamic. Hey, they look happy about it, but that's not my house. That's not my household is being ran. So we get into how she met Courtney in college when he was playing basketball professionally overseas. And when she sees him pursue his dreams, she got that inspiration where I can do that as well. Then she got emotional because Courtney helped her get her business off the ground. It wasn't how she did it. It was about how we did it. We worked our asses off to get here. And the balance that her and her husband have, while she's very hands-on with her business, Courtney is at home taking care of their son. He is giving their son a bath every day. He is taking him to school every day. She wishes she could do that. You know what I'm saying? But knowing how he's giving her that space and freedom to navigate her business, because this is what she wants to do, she will never say, I'm the breadwinner, because I couldn't eat without him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he took a chance on me and helping me get my business off the ground. And I'm never going to take that for granted. I'm never going to not give my husband the respect he deserves on being there for me and help me pursue my dreams. And also, he is there for me by taking care of our children. He is there for me by taking care of our child. And that is beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. All right. I love that she respects Courtney for who he is and how he matters to her. And it's vice versa. Courtney works the ground that Stormi walks on. Okay. I love their relationship. I've loved their relationship ever since they came on this show, because they both want each other to shine. You know, there's no competition. We're both winning. We're both pursuing our dreams, and we're both having the family that we always wanted. I love that so much. I really, really do. And when it comes to her buying stuff, do you let him know? Do you ask him permission? She said, hell no, I don't. Love it, love it, love it. So then we get into Kayla. You know, Kayla has the most saddest story, I believe. She told us about the age gap with her and her ex-husband. And she explains it when she was dating him at 17, they dated for 11 months. But then when she turned 18, they got married 11 days after that. I said, he preyed on you, Kayla. He wanted to take possession of you. He wanted to wait until you were legal in order to be with you. And that is so disgusting. Like, what 32-year-old man has anything in common with a 17-year-old? Make that make all the way sense. That's disgusting. Hearing her story, everybody felt like she was robbed of her youth. And she was. Robbed of her experiences. Then she would feel hurt when she would hear her ex-husband talk about what he did when he was in his 20s. Back down memory lane of all the things he did. And she realized, I don't have no life experiences like that. I didn't go to college. I got a job. I became pregnant 6 months after that. I don't have no stories to tell about the things that I've done. I only have experiences of what I've been through with him, because he has been my entire life. And that is so sad to me. I saw Fumi tear up. I saw Stormi tear up. I started to get teared up because, like, Kayla is such a beautiful woman. And the way that she got preyed on by this man, and how her mother wasn't there, her dad died when she was young, I'm just like, oh my God, Kayla. But I'm very happy that it took her to this point to finally say, I want more from me. I don't deserve this. I never deserved this. So then we talk about her new relationship with her new boyfriend, Jason. What is the age gap between them? They're 17 years apart. He is older, but she's older. You know, I've learned from my time of what I was dealing with. I'm way different than I was. I was a child that became a young wife, that became a young mother. And she still believes that no one can understand what she's been through. Knowing that she is 35 years old, but she dealt with a lot when she was only 18 years old. But I don't want her to just stay in that space of older men can understand what she's been through. I want her to open that door for other men her age to understand what she's been through, or connect with other women who have been through trauma and struggles in their lives when they were young. I want her to branch out. I want her to find herself. And Carlos said, don't ever compromise yourself for no man. Always want the best for you, and I commend that, because I do want Kayla to find herself. I want Kayla to learn more about herself, because I do think that she got into a relationship way too soon after her divorce. I understand you're older, and Jason could be very good for you, but don't settle for Jason. Don't. I want you to branch out. I want you to learn more about yourself. So then we get into Tiffany, how Tiffany wanted more children with her husband, but her husband said no, he wanted a vasectomy. But then Tiffany said that in the beginning, before they got married, her and her husband did not want more children. So then, hearing him say he wanted a vasectomy, she felt like that was extreme. But if you and him had a conversation about not wanting any more children, and then y'all did have a son, then why are you shocked about his response of not wanting any more children? So he hasn't gotten the vasectomy yet, but there is an upcoming appointment. Okay. Now, as far as how she's going to express her feelings and reason for wanting more children, if her husband's wants and reasons is more than what she wants, then she's going to follow what her husband is feeling. But again, I'm still lost about, why do you want more children? Are you trying to operate from the Bible sense where God wants you to multiply? But if your husband's telling you, we don't need any more children, we're set, we're good, I don't know why you're trying to force him into having more kids. Because I said it before, Tiffany, you force him to have any more children, he's going to resent you and resent the child that y'all going to have after that. I'm sorry, not sorry. Because I understand you want to be a servant of the Lord, but if your partner don't want no more children, and God will only give you what you can handle, and if he only wants to handle 3 and not more than 3, then leave it alone. Don't pressure him. I better not find out that you pregnant, Tiffany. I bet not, because I feel like your marriage is not going to last long if you set this man up to have more children when he said he doesn't want no more children. Because for me, you can't make it seem as if my needs need to be met, but if you're not recognizing how your husband's needs to be met, make it make sense. I'm moving on. All right, so now we get into Kayla, all right? Amber and Tiffany believes that Kayla likes to pretend she don't know what's going on. They believe she's messy. They believe she throws her rock and hide her hand. So we get into Amber's issue with Kayla, that Kayla did not want to say hi to her. She didn't want to talk to her when she was introduced to her by Stormi. Kayla said, well, that wasn't the first time we met, and it wasn't by Stormi. I had invited her to my grand opening. Me and her were cool in the DMs. We saw the flashback. They were cool. They were expressing love towards one another. So the reason why Amber felt like Kayla did not want to like her or did not want to say hi to her was because at her grand opening, she didn't recognize Amber. Kayla said, bingo, I didn't recognize you. But Amber don't believe that that's enough of a receipt. You sure, Amber? If she didn't recognize you, how come you couldn't say, hey, girl, it's me, Amber? A very clear, very honest misunderstanding, and you did not want to fix the issue. You wanted to allow for you to feel like, well, she don't like me, so I'm just going to keep it at she don't like me. That's petty. That's stupid. So we have another moment where Kayla thought that Amber was talking about how she just got some work done on her boobs, and Kayla wanted to touch them and see how they feel. Amber said, that's not true. What else you have? Okay, 3 days ago, they were all hanging out. Amber gave her a slice of cake, and they were good. But the reason why Amber was so nice to her was because she didn't want to be rude. She was a woman of grace. That's bullshit, Amber. If you don't like Kayla, why give her a slice of cake? Why take a photo with her and Sonetta? Why smile like you're nice and smile like you're cool with her when you don't like her? That's some fake shit. And I love that Kayla stood up for herself and she said, you're fake. And she do believe that Amber created an issue with her when they got on the show. Amber says she ain't got to do that because she's had cameras around her all her life and she's very respected around here. What does that mean? That means nothing. Your professional life of being a basketball player and having cameras around you is not the same as you being on reality TV. You used this issue with Kayla to have a storyline. That's it, that's all. And you added more of other misunderstandings to make more of a reason why you don't like Kayla, and that was stupid. Stupid. So we get into the comment that Kayla made about her niece. She knew it was wrong. She said I shouldn't have said it. But Amber wanted to be a teaching moment for Kayla to recognize how she shouldn't say certain things about people, because we're now focusing on what Kayla says on her social media page. Because she wrote a comment about who's going to fight my ops in the comment section. They viewed it as Kayla is going to send her minions to fight other people. But y'all reading it too seriously, because then we see other family members on Amber's side taking it to that extreme, like, oh, you're going to send someone to fight? That's what we on? But why are you at her comment section anyway? Why are you stalking her page to see how she's interacting with her fans? Why? I think that they read too deeply into the comment section to try to call out Kayla, for Kayla to not act like she don't know what she's doing. She needs to be careful when she's on a public platform, how fans can take this out of context. I think that Kayla can tell. But I feel like y'all don't want to understand Kayla. And I mean Tiffany and Amber, I don't think that y'all want to really hear and recognize how Kayla is trying to come into her own. It's like y'all wasn't listening to what she's been through. Yes, we can tell Kayla is a bit off. Who else isn't off? Kayla has a whole different type of humor than you guys do. All y'all have different kinds of humor that is not easily welcome. But I feel like you guys are really trying not to welcome Kayla. Y'all not trying to understand her. Y'all not trying to like her. And I don't know. I feel like Tiffany and Amber look down on Kayla because Kayla doesn't know how to have friends. Well, she doesn't know how to make friends because she never had that experience. And you guys are too busy making fun of her about how she doesn't know how to have friends. And it's not really cool. It's very mean girl of y'all. So when it comes to her comment section, she doubles down and defends it. And she says, you're not gonna tell me how I'm gonna operate on my page. So I'm gonna do my page how I do my page. So Stormi was asked, how do you feel about what Kayla said? Stormi says, I've known Kayla for 6 years. And I hate that she has to over-explain herself as to what she did and didn't mean. It's very unfortunate because when it came down to me, I didn't have to say shit. And folks were still tagging me and shit. Even though, Stormi, it can read off as if you're being hypocritical on how you're not recognizing that fans can't take things out of context. Fans can do the most. But maybe it's because Stormi knows Kayla. She knows that Kayla really don't mean no harm in what she says and what she does. And y'all not giving her that grace. You're not giving her that understanding. Even though, Stormi, I'm going to have to say this. While you did get attacked a lot, your mother aided into you getting attacked a lot because your mother went after a certain cast member for no reason whatsoever. So she gives off a general statement that applies to everybody. That Kayla can go to her fans and want them to defend her and how she's being portrayed on the show. You can have your fans do the same thing and come after Kayla based off of how she's presented on the show. It's the same thing. We have to work on resolving the issue. We have to work on giving each other grace. Because if we're going to continue to paint that narrative that someone is going to get attacked for that reason, then that's on us. And I agree with Stormi. We all got to be mindful with the way we treat people on the show. We can't just blame the fans. Look at how y'all treat the person. And Amber and Tiffany, lots of people agree with how you guys treated Kayla. I don't agree with how y'all treated Kayla. I feel like the way I treated Kayla was wrong. But because they don't want to like Kayla, don't want to understand her, they're going to go off on how you guys don't like her. So because Amber didn't get the answer she expected out of Stormi, which was how Kayla was wrong, Kayla did this, Kayla said that, Stormi defended that she gave an answer. And then Tiffany wanted to jump in and say, you see how she dances around the question? Because, baby, I'm going to give you straight up, okay? Because I'm your friend. Behind these cameras, I'm your friend. Tiffany, this is not about you. This is not your segment. This wasn't your question. It was towards Stormi, and Amber wanted an explanation. Let this be their conversation. Like, Tiffany doing way too much to try to have a moment with Stormi, and she always wants to get a reaction out of Stormi. And I don't like that y'all are putting way too much on Kayla, like trying to point the finger at her like she did the most horrific thing on the show. And then Stormi asked Carlos, can you give me another question? So she was asked another question. How do you feel about what Stormi said? How do you feel about what Kayla said about her ops fighting in the comments? So she asked Kayla, what did you mean by that? Kayla said, I was talking about defending me for the show. I'm not directing nobody personally. I was talking about defending my actions for the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just talking about the comments on how people are reading me on the show. And I hope my fans can recognize how I am and they see things on my perspective. That's it. That's all. It's, you know what? Lots of people are looking deeply into how a scene's being presented because we're only seeing maybe a minute clip, 50-second clip of a small part of a scene. That's not the whole thing. So we're only going off about that. And everyone's already in the comment section debating on what was said, what was meant. It is totally natural and normal, but when you guys try to fight so hard to prove one person's actions is right and one person's action is wrong, that's when it's just getting toxic and annoying. All right. So then we get into Tiffany's comment about how she believes that Kayla is one of Stormi's minions, and Amber says she agreed. Why do you agree? They mentioned a time when they were at the boxing gym, on how Kayla will text Stormi 100 times and Stormi will only reply back a few times. And in her mind, they're mocking Kayla by saying, I hope I'm still her friend. Why are y'all making fun of Kayla like this? This is such mean girl behavior, bro. And it's really making me sad. It's making me get teary-eyed because y'all are reasons as to why it's a risk on how to make friends with females, because y'all be too busy making fun of other girls. I don't know why y'all looking down on Kayla for how she's operating with trying to create friendship, because she don't know how. So she's super happy that she has a great friend in Stormi. She thinks so highly of Stormi, it's not even funny. And it's just so fucked up in my opinion. And it still is not resonating to me about how she's a minion. And they say she puts a battery in her back. How? Give me an example on how. And Stormi was so funny. She said, I guess I'm a Duracell. I'm always going. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. And then she said, why can't Kayla be her own person? I don't care about none of that shit. Why am I in it? Why are you trying to make it seem that Kayla can't do nothing on her own without me being in it? And then Tiffany said you put her on a mission. What mission? So the infamous mission that Tiffany assumed that Stormi sent Kayla out on was the lunch that Tiffany invited her out to. Key and point, Tiffany invited her out to lunch. So how can Stormi know ahead of time that Kayla was going to be sent an invite to lunch by Tiffany? Girl, please. You just want to paint Stormi out to be the villain so bad. You want to make her out to be the one that was behind the scenes pulling the strings. Girl, please. So Kayla admits that she did know what happened at the Civil Rights Institute. She heard it from Stormi. So because she heard Stormi's side of things, she wanted to use this moment to get Tiffany's side of things. Nothing's wrong with that, right? But witnessing the way that Tiffany and Kendra went after Kayla by asking simple fucking questions, I don't know if Tiffany would have been on a different time, on a different feeling, if Kayla did tell her, I do know what happened at the Civil Rights Institute. I heard from Storm, but I want to know how you feel. I want to know your side of things. Would Tiffany have understood it and explained her side of things, or would she have still felt like, oh my gosh, she's here on a mission? Oh my gosh, she's here to defend Stormi, because that's all Tiffany wants to do is make everything about Stormi. Now Tiffany wants to say, I respect you 100% for being honest with me, but I really wanted to share my heart with you. I really wanted to invite you out to bond with you. But after that, and after the cameras went down, I said, you disappoint me. Because she asked you about what happened at the Civil Rights Institute. She asked you how it went. Girl, Tiffany, go to hell. And I loved that Kayla said, no. When I asked you, you were trying to play Stormi by saying you were trying to be more mature and she wasn't. And that's some bullshit. You and your friend wanted to double team Stormi. How Stormi came at you and you didn't want to admit that you made an offensive comment and you want to go back and say it was still funny. Like, Tiffany fucking miss me, okay? Miss me. All right? You did not have real intentions on inviting Kayla out to get to know her. No, because once Kayla opened up what she went through, she invited you in. She was very vulnerable. Once she was talking about what happened at the Civil Rights Institute, that's when you became negative. That was when you came at her for no reason. Make it make sense. I really don't get it when it comes to this chick. It's like, why do you put Stormi as the evil mastermind of everything? It doesn't make any sense to me. Because we're going to get into later in this reunion about how Tiffany believes she's trying to test Stormi's character to see if she's more than her money. And I feel like you cannot handle her money. You cannot handle the aura that Stormi represents. And you're assuming she carries this aura because she's rich. And you're assuming folks like to kiss her ass and kiss her feet and bow down to her, which I don't think that that's the case. I don't think so. You're trying to uncover a mystery of how folks can change when they get money, and that's not Stormi. So, to feel a way about someone asking you questions when this is the purpose of being on a reality show, we're asking questions. If there's an issue between two members of the group, we're going to ask questions. I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense why you don't get of why you're on a reality show that you're not going to be asked questions. So then we get into the biggest mess ever on reality TV, which is this damn mop comment. I feel like Tiffany kicked it off when she blamed the ladies of her couple's Christian night got ruined when it didn't get ruined. And you try to make a joke and Stormi didn't find it funny. So when it came down to them trying to resolve it at the Civil Rights Institute, it irritated me that both Tiffany and Stormi danced around the issue. I wanted Stormi to not focus on what Sonetta said and just came out and say, this is what bothered me. I wanted Tiffany to not dance around what she didn't know when Sonetta told her what could have bothered Stormi. Both of y'all pissed me off when y'all did that. And then we're just going down the line of why didn't Stormi figure out how to talk to Tiffany and move on, but Stormi was going through the biggest live of her career, so there was no way she was going to stop what she was doing to talk to Tiffany. Fuck no. I was going to focus on my business and I'll get to Tiffany when I can get to her. And that's when Tiffany felt like that's all Stormi likes to do is leave her money. Girl, if she wants to make sure her business is up and running, that's what she's going to do. Why should you feel a way that she's all about her business? Why should she not be? She came into this season talking about her first ever celebrity collaboration. That is huge. So that's where her focus was. Why are you assuming that she doesn't want to know other people, wanting to get to know other people? Why are you assuming she doesn't want to talk to other people? Girl, if you wanted to figure out how you can move forward, then you could have called and reached out. Ugh. And again, Tiffany's always bringing up Stormi's money and how she said, I'm focused on your character. I don't want to know who you are beside the money. You never got a chance to see that side because you was too busy assuming that she doesn't know how to be a regular person without her money. You and Kendra said she don't know how to show humility. She don't know how to have regular conversations. Girl, please. I feel like, Tiffany, it is showcasing your jealousy. Sorry, not sorry. You feel a way about how Stormi showcased the show, how the show centered around Stormi. It was anchored by Stormi. I don't know what to tell you. Since Stormi does carry a better star quality, a better recognition on social media than you do, girl, leave me the fuck alone. Leave me alone. Like, this argument is ridiculous. And then we get into the fucking mob comment. You trying to attach the mob to her character like you're acting as if she is beneath mopping. She is beneath serving. Why the fuck are we going there? Like, you're moving the goalpost. That is such a weird thing to attach to itself. You told her to mop as a fucking joke because you wanted to humble her because you feel a way about how she is Stormi still. If Stormi views herself as an amazing person, as the girl who got it like that, why are you bothered by that? When she never treated you any differently, she treated you like a regular person. Girl, please. Please. And then when Tiffany can't come up with nothing else, then she wants to insult Storm by saying that she has a mop on her forehead. Girl, her hair was better than yours. And as a woman who wants to present herself as a woman of God, woman of Christ, you're being very nasty. You're being very evil. Fumi had to come in and say, baby, enough with the insult, okay? Stormi said, I upset your spirit so much because you're jealous of me. You cannot be me, hoe. I like it when Stormi says that. You cannot be me, hoe, period. You wish you was in Stormi's position right now. And I feel like you're mad that you're not there. So Fumi is telling Tiffany, when someone tells you they're offended, you apologize and you leave it there. That's it. Tiffany says, I do apologize. No, you don't. You don't apologize. You don't. Your tone, your delivery, it's all wonky. It's all out of whack. You want to use, I'm real, I'm saying it like it is. No, you're not. No, you're not. And Stormi felt like you didn't even allow for me to figure out how we could move on because you were too busy telling me I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Excuse me. You were too busy thinking that you knew me, but you did not know me. And again, I've been through a lot in my business. I have lost it. I've gained it back. I'm not going to keep on playing with my business. This shit ain't funny to me. God has blessed me. God loves me. Okay? I take care of a lot of people. So for you to say, I don't know what it's like to serve, girl, I know what it is. I know how to serve. I'm thankful every single day. Tiffany right here, she was patronizing, okay? Because she was saying, I'm glad you know that God loves you. But I feel like in the same conversation, she wanted to tell Stormi she should be mindful and humble with what God has blessed her. You don't think she knows that, Tiffany? You don't need to be the messenger trying to convince Stormi that she needs to be grateful with how her life has been. She knows it. And you think that she don't treat people respectfully because she's been blessed with so much? No, I think that's the opposite. I think that Stormi does know how to treat people with respect, but she's not going to be taken for a fool. That's another thing. While Stormi carries that energy of being on guard when folks are trying to come at her and take her kindness for weakness, that's when she's going to come out. But she's not doing that to other people because she's looking down on them. That's what you do, okay? So then we get into the big fight at Stormi's house, right? Where she wanted to present a much better welcoming to the rest of the ladies. And all it took was for Stormi changing her plate, moving her seat because she was claustrophobic, and Tiffany was laughing about it. Amber was asked, do you think it was right for Stormi to kick Tiffany out? She said if she felt disrespected, then I'm going to respect her feelings of removing someone out of her home. Now she called out Tiffany for laughing about the things that she know would have bothered Stormi. She knew that. Amber said she did feel like she was in the middle. And Stormi said that if there was anyone that could have mended our issues faster, it would have been Amber because she knows us both very well. I agree with that. But I don't think that Amber did not want to make any decisions because she didn't want to say the real. She did not want to admit of the things that she knows Tiffany did that bothered Stormi. And she didn't want to give Stormi the satisfaction of her being right about Tiffany. Because remember, early in the season, Amber did not understand the way that Fumi felt with the way that Tiffany kind of slighted her at Stormi's event. She defended Tiffany, defended how she's very good friends with her, but she wanted everyone to look at Kayla sideways. Yeah. So we get to another time where Tiffany still thinks that Stormi is leading with her money because she's assuming that Stormi made a comment about why would you ask a CEO of a multi-million-dollar brand to mop. She said, I didn't say that, that was Chanel. And it was Chanel saying that. And Chanel also said, how would I tell you, Kendra, a first lady, hello, mop on aisle 5. No, mop on aisle 5. So, again, you're just assuming that Stormi have said certain things that painted this character about herself. No. You've assumed that because you want to blame everything on Stormi so bad, and it wasn't Stormi. Evidence that Stormi doesn't lead with money. It's how people view her. It's how people are recognizing what the situation is being read, and they have their own opinions about it. It is not Stormi putting a battery in their back to go off on how she feels. Like, you expect so much out of Stormi to defend something that you don't like, but she said, I don't have to do what pleases you, Tiffany. Because she said that why couldn't you have checked Chanel about what she said? Why didn't you tell her to stop? Why would I do that? You never told Kendra to stop. Kendra came in and defended you way too many times and spoke on things that she didn't have to say. So I'm with Stormi. I don't have to do what pleases you. You can accuse me of something I didn't say, and you can't check me about why I didn't check other people who said something that you didn't say. Girl, please. Work on what you need to work on. I'll work on what I need to work on. Like, girl, I'm not about to work on figuring out a way of you feeling okay, and you not working on what makes me feel okay. That's in the same conversation of Stormi saying, don't offend me then. So if you know you're saying things that can cause problems, look for a way to not say it. It's in the same realm, Tiffany. Like, Tiffany, you were on an island by yourself to assume that these ladies kissed Stormi's ass for a way for them to still be part of the show. They all don't believe that Stormi leads with her money. They are getting to know her differently. Yes, this show is centered around Stormi. She is the anchor of the show. When you have people who are attached to you, yes, you're going to form friendship, but they're not following behind Stormi because she's Stormi. That's not why. They have their own friendship with her, and you're mad about it. That's what it is. You are mad about it. Tiffany, you assumed a lot about how people being a part of a group and how they should operate. Excuse me. It ain't right. I feel like you wanted to be the anchor of the show, and you wish you had the decision making of how to control the show, how to control how people operate, because that's what you're assuming. That's how Stormi is doing. You assume that Stormi got everyone's brain in jars and she's controlling what they're saying. No. Fumi said, listen, I'm going to need for you to disabuse that thought that you feel like we're only being cool with her because we need to stay on the show. We are all successful in our own right. We're all bringing something to the show. I don't need to be part of a gang up. I don't need to be part of a group. I don't need that. Okay? And Tiffany, you assume that everyone's jumping on you. No one's jumping on you. They were just trying to understand your reasons why you keep on trying to place everybody as a part of Stormi's minion crew when they haven't done anything to follow behind Stormi's feelings. They all have their own separate issue with you, but you want to say, oh, it's because of Stormi. No, it's not. And then Tiffany says that anytime she's around Fumi, she's giving off a different energy. That makes no sense. What was the explanation? So the Last Supper, we talk about Fumi did not appreciate the Last Supper being the title because it's so special in the Bible of how Jesus did with his disciples by washing their feet. And Tiffany thinks she's trying to catch her in not being direct when it comes to Stormi because she believes she's afraid of telling Stormi how she feels. But little do you know, Tiffany, Fumi spoke to Stormi that she didn't like how the event was called, the Last Supper. But why do you need to know that? That ain't nothing to do with you. It's not about you. So Fumi isn't scary. She told Stormi how she felt, and we all saw her in the scene that she really wasn't here for this kind of ordeal. She said it herself. Tiffany said she was being performative. But if you didn't like it, Tiffany, then you could have sashayed your ass outside. You walked in, ate. I saw the scene where Stormi was washing your feet and you was accepting the treatment because you feel like that's where Stormi belongs. She belongs to the bottom of your feet. But ma'am, you want to talk about it was a mockery of something that was meaningful in the Bible? The mockery was that game night you had with your Christian friends. That was a mockery. That was a weird game you had over there. Like, to say that it was blasphemy against God, she said, oh my God, okay. Stormi said, listen, I'm aware that people are super religious and want things done correctly from the Bible. And I wanted to say that's not the case. I'm respecting other people's feelings and opinions about it, okay? And this isn't the first time the Last Supper has been a dinner theme. It's not just on reality TV. Plenty of people have created the Last Supper as a way to mend bonds, resolve issues. Like, you cannot place this all on Stormi, Tiffany. And the reason why she wanted a better outcome for this event was because she got to know the ladies differently. She got to know Fumi better. She has great energy. She got to know Kayla deeply. Like, she respects Kayla. Like, this girl is a savage. The way that she created her business, she got out the mud. All right? Then she wishes she got closer to Amber because she can tell there was distance between the two of them. And she know that Amber did not want to be in the middle of her and Tiffany. But there could have been a way for us to talk, for us to resolve our problems. And it wasn't just about the show. I just wanted to see how my friend was doing. And she got emotional. Amber got up and hugged her. And she was like, what do you mean? Why do you feel like it was something that we couldn't talk about? Why couldn't you call me? Because I did call you. And I felt like anytime I was going to bring up things, you kind of shut me down. And Stormi said, I didn't even know what you were going with your IVF. I didn't know. Even though it was probably something that Amber mentioned, but she wasn't inviting Stormi into the process. Going to the appointments, finding out what her body has been dealing with when she was sick. Yes, she did her shot, but I felt like she just knew about her shot. I don't think she knew what she was going through with her having a bad reaction to the medication. And all she wanted was to be there for her friend. And Amber wasn't really accepting that. She wasn't really welcoming her in that way. So, you know, they hugged it out. It was emotional. And I hope Amber doesn't ruin this friendship she has with Stormi based off of how she's trying to still be cool with Tiffany. But something's telling me when the new season come about, it might be more of a rift between Amber and Stormi. And I don't know, what does that mean for Amber working with Stormi? How does that work? Is she going to fire Amber to keep the friendship? Or end the friendship altogether and fire her too? I have no idea. But the way that Amber and Tiffany, they are more in sync than Amber and Stormi, there's no telling, right? So, yeah, that was pretty much the end of the reunion and the end of Birmingham, and the end of Belle Collective Birmingham. We'll see y'all next season, hopefully. But y'all, that's just all I have. These ladies got on my fucking nerves. And I mean Tiffany and Amber. That's all I have, y'all. Please stay tuned next video. I'm see you guys later. Bye.